I'm Alan Johnson, Structural Specialist for Allied Crawlspace Solutions. I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about things that cause foundation failure and how we repair foundations. One thing, and the biggest reason why most foundations fail in North Alabama is our expansive soils. We have soils that when they get wet, they expand. When they get dry, they shrink. So typically, you're going to see more foundation failure during the summertime when we go through a drought period or soils are really dry. Erosion can cause foundation failure. Poorly compacted soils. If a house is built on an area where dirt is brought in, there's not very good compacted soils, you'll have issues of foundation failure. I'll show you how we repair a foundation permanently. In the old days, a lot of times when a foundation failed, the solution was to go pour more concrete under it. Concrete solve everything. The problem is you're putting more weight in unstable soil. So if you've got an area where the soil is unstable and you put more weight in it, you run the risk of it failing again. So what we do is a more permanent solution to where we go all the way down to bedrock, or we go down to where we get refusal of our pier. Pier can't go down anymore. So this is what we use. It's called a helical pier. Okay, and I'll tell you how we install it. One, this is a display that we've had made that shows a foundation, shows a brick wall, kind of shows your house constructed, what is beneath the soil. So what we do is we expose the footer. This part here is the footer. Once we expose the footer, we notch it out to where our pier can sit directly under the load of the structure. So once we have notched the footer out, we will clean this area, make it flush, make the bottom flush, so that when our bracket sits in there, it's completely flush against the foundation of the home. And then of course you can see here where we've attached it to the home. That's the very first thing we do, is clean the footer, prep it, get it ready for the bracket. The next thing we do is we drill our pier in. Now you see this one right here is square stock. We also use round stock, depending on the type of soils that we're in. This is called the helix. This helix here is 8 inches. We use a double flighted helix. This one's a single flight just for illustration purposes. We use an 8-inch helix on the bottom, 10-inch on the top. It's almost like a drill bit screwing into the ground. So we have a power head that fits on the end of that 7-foot lead, and we screw it into the ground. Once we get in to where it can't go, to where almost to the grade, we add an extension on, and we keep going until we get to about 2,500 pounds of torque, or until we get to a refusal, till it goes to bedrock. Once we do that, then we slide the bracket onto the pier itself. Then we take this T-bar that fits over that, and we connect the two together. So everything is fastened together to this pier. Once we do that, we fit it to the foundation and we bolt it in. When we do that, we put this part, which is the lifting device. Okay, this will be removed after the structure is lifted. Now, when I talk about lifting, remember, this pier cannot go any further. So it's down to bedrock or to right of refusal. Once we get there, then we connect everything together. We put the lifting head on and we put the jack in the middle. The jack is actually pushing down on the pier. All the weight is going down on the pier, but because the pier can't go down, it lifts. So you'll see this, you can see this crack here in this structure, and this is pretty common for what we see when foundations have failed. Once we have the jack in here, then we start to raise the structure. And you see the crack start to come close. So we're lifting the foundation up. Now, once we have it there, then all we have to do is tighten down on these bolts, take the lifting head, the jack off, and we're done. Everything's connected. It's all the way down to, the pier's all the way down to bedrock. It's a permanent solution. You never have to worry about the foundation moving again. Now, some people, you see the difference. One of the things here, our pier is galvanized. Most people use raw steel. The problem with that is, number one, the galvanized is going to last a lot longer. But if you ever had to expose that pier, you had to tighten something up. If this is all raw steel, it's going to rust. You're not going to be able to do that. With galvanized, it's there forever. So it's a permanent solution. When we put in helical piers, we give a lifetime warranty that the structure will never move again. Once we're done, we bring a professional bricklayer in to remortar any cracks that are there or any places. Sometimes we'll have to cut the mortar out, because if you have cracks that have mortar inside of them, when you go to lift instead of closing the crack, you're just lifting the structure. So we try to clean the cracks out. We'll take your mortar, get it matched up at the brick company, have a bricklayer to come back and match the mortar in so that we can make your house look as good as new. So anyway, it's a permanent solution, lifetime guarantee, and Allied Crawlspace, the cornerstone to a safer, healthier home.